So the Blue Jays are on the field. They're ready to kick it off. Dusler back set to receive for the Spartans along with Ethan Dahlem. Case Western Reserve had a couple of drives in that first half that they really looked smooth and in rhythm. And then once they got inside the 30 of Johns Hopkins, that Blue Jay defense just seemed to turn it up a notch, almost with a flip of a switch. They were completely different. This will be Dusler that will receive it at the 5-yard line. Sophomore from Avon Lake High School. Avoids a tackle at the 17. Nice cut back to the middle of the field, and that Blue Jay defense swarms, and there's a flag thrown from the midfield area. We'll wait to see what that's called.
Yeah, and this is what I'm interested of, is how can Saxon come out and assert himself as a leader, say, hey guys, listen, didn't have the first half that we thought or anticipated, but this is a chance for us to go out and put some points up on the board. And, you know, whether they realize it or not, the other coaches in this conference and the PAC, they're going to watch how this team responds. It's a good chance to put stuff on tape, show the rest of the President's Athletic Conference that, you know, this is a legitimate offense. It's an offense that returned a bunch of guys from a high-powered attack last year, and, you know, we're here to play again in 2022.
Penalty was on the Spartans. They'll mark off 10. And what was going to be a drive that started at the 28 will now start at the 18. Saxton is under center at quarterback to start the third quarter. Orsini, the lone back in the backfield. Little bubble screen. Pick up a few yards. A Coin on the reception. Coin and Dahlem and Nurek and several wideouts involved in this offense today, and historically, a year ago, for Coach Delleback and Drew Saxon as quarterback, they used 9 different receivers. Caught passes and had over 100 yards, all the way up to 814 yards. The wide receiver leader over the middle. This will go for a first down and more. That's Ethan Dahlem. Run out of bounds at the 46-yard line.
Yeah, and I'd say from Case's own 20 to their 50 today, they've been pretty good. They've moved the ball, they've picked up first downs, and they're getting into the territory here where, you know, historically today they've had issues. So this is what I'm curious to see. Can they convert? Can they keep moving into plus territory and get points on the board?
Spartans quickly moving. Saxton pass a little bit high and out of the outstretched arms of Noah Coin. The plan today was short drops, short routes, quick drops, short routes. And they have certainly had to stick with that plan because that defensive front from Johns Hopkins has always put pressure on the offensive line. Hopkins showing blitz, picked up by Orsini. Bubble screen. Coin's going to get 1, maybe 2 yards.
I'd say between the two teams, this is the most bubble screens, wide receiver, quick screens I've ever seen in my life. I think we're at 15, at least 15. And, you know, Hopkins so far has been more successful with it. A lot of the screen game, it comes down to how athletic are your linemen, how quickly and efficiently can they get out and get big bodies on smaller guys. So Case hasn't necessarily been able to do that. Credit to Hopkins having, you know, we'll say team speed on defense across the board, and that's kind of how you shut that quick game down.
3rd down and 7 for the Spartans. They need to get to the Blue Jays' 44-yard line. Saxton looks left to Coin again, and Coin almost with a back shoulder circus catch. It would have been beautiful.
Yeah, P.J. Penders has been excellent today. You know, we've called his name far more than the other corners. On the other side, they have Alejandro Garcia and Luca Lutzel, you know, rotating in. So they've gone after Penders for one reason or another, and he's been up for the challenge. So really strong game out of him, and not necessarily a big guy, 5'9", 180, going up against, you know, so far Coin has been his main matchup at 6'4", and Penders has been up to the task.
Coach Debelak will choose to go for it on 4th and 7. And I think you will see this happen the entire half, down 34-0. Unless, of course, they're inside their own 20. And a whistle. Did they get was it a delay of game? It is exactly that. So that's going to set up a 4th and 12. And now they'll punt.
Yeah, it's more of the same from the Hopkins defense. There's just not a lot of room to operate at all three levels between linebackers and DBs. They've shown that team speed. They rally to the ball, and even if Case has been able to complete a pass here or there, the yards after catch has really been clamped down by this defense.
Ben Barney will punt it for Case Western Reserve. Barney with a nice punt, and it went off a helmet, and that's a live ball. And fortunately for Johns Hopkins, it hopped out of bounds. That hit a helmet hard and took almost just one quick hop, and it went out of bounds. We'll take a look at it here. It went right off a Johns Hopkins player.
That actually helped them. Gave them 8 extra yards of field position there. So,
boy, if the Spartans could have smothered that before it went out of bounds. It got there quickly. I think it was Matt Dubois that it went off of Matt's helmet. When you're down 34-0, Andrew, you need breaks like that to
you'll take anything
you can
get. Anything you can get.
So here's an offense that has done pretty much everything right today. It's already Collins. He's had a big day. He'll carry it, and he'll get tackled. Nick Sacalo. Guess who?
Yeah, Sakala's had a nice game. He's going through a position change, like we said, moving from linebacker back to safety, and I thought he was pretty good at linebacker last year, and not sure if that's a depth thing, if they're just looking to get their best 11 guys on the field out there, but he's shown the ability to come downhill as a safety and bring the thunder like he used to at the linebacker position.
This is Wolf with it. Wolf will get up to the 45. He'll pick up 7. It'll set up a 3rd down and 3 for the Blue Jays. This year in the pack, Spartans are picked in the middle of the pack. Picked to finish 5th. Blue Jays will not get the first down. Wolf's going to be a yard short. And really, the 5th place finish last year and the prediction that they'll finish 5th again this year is kind of new territory for Coach Debelak and his staff, because they historically have been one of the top teams in that conference. I mean, they have done nothing but win. They have a .710 winning percentage.
And for one reason or another, the pack is really, it used to be, we'll say, a 2-team league. Now those 2 teams changed each year. Some years it'd be Case and Carnegie Mellon. Westminster would pop up. W&J's consistently at the top. Now you're looking at it year to year. There's probably 4 or 5 teams that are playoff worthy and playoff caliber. So the strength of schedule of the conference is definitely coming up. And Cases, they're going to have to bring it each week. There's not necessarily those easy pushover games that they used to have in the past, and it's just something that they need to continue to grow through and realize, hey, if you want to be with the big dogs, that you're going to have to adjust.
Andrew, one of those teams, Grove City, and we had them here on this field last year. One of those teams that has put themselves in that top tier of the pack, and that was something historically that was never the case.
No, I can't remember what the 3-year stretch was. I don't think they won more 2 games total over 3 years, and now they're, I'd say, a perennial conference contender. So you think about teams like that, Grove City, in my mind, Grove City, Westminster, W&J, Mellon, and Case, at any one point in time, and we got a fire drill going on. Well, got to give them the chance to sub.
Yeah, so coming out of that, the Spartan defense was on the sideline. The Blue Jay offense saw an opportunity, and fire drill was the right term, because there were 11 Spartans trying to get back to that football before that young man snapped it.
There we go. Everybody gets settled.
11:32 left to play, 3rd quarter. It's 34-0, Johns Hopkins. Danny Wolf, first back through. Hard hitting going on in there. It was a 4th and 1 situation, and Wolf needed to get to there's a penalty flag.
Yeah, well, one thing you can't do is pull people off the pile if you're a player. It's really tempting. It's really fun to do, but you're going to get flagged. So
they needed to get to the 48, and they'll mark it right at the 48. So it's going to be a measurable ball, but it will depend on who the penalty is on.
Yeah, so it looked like a dead ball foul, so they'll get the first down, and then they'll take the yardage off on the back end.
And that's exactly what will happen. Blue Jays will keep it. They'll say it was a first down. They won't even measure for it. But they'll back them up 15. The ball will be at the 34-yard line.
Okay, all that, we have 1st and 10. Much ado about nothing.
Stevens with a handoff. They'll continue to wind the clock and churn out yards. Danny Wolf with the football.
Yeah, and I would think Hopkins keeps their starters in. Assuming the score stays like this, probably give them most of the third quarter. Just continue to get the reps. I mean, even though they're up 34-0, these reps are way, way different from camp, and you need to get your guys game experience, even if they are grad students or senior players.
Wolf on 2nd and long. Actually, it's not Wolf, it's Ugla. Breaks a tackle at the line of scrimmage, squirts out to the left, and he's across midfield.
You know, one thing I've noticed today is Hopkins receivers, as prolific as they've been, catching the ball on their own, also really invested and really aggressive in the run game, and that's how you can take
good blockers,
5-6 yard runs and turn them into 15-20 chunk plays. So, it's a good lesson out there if you're looking to, even if you're not getting the volume activity that you think you should in the pass game, go out, make an impact, get some blocks, and help the offense.
118 yards rushing in the opening half. Johns Hopkins had. Ugla again with the football. He's going to pick up a yard. You look at the 118 yards rushing and you throw in 210 yards passing, and the Blue Jays really put big offensive numbers up in that opening half. This is Sean Torres down on the field right now for the Spartans.
Yeah, I didn't necessarily see what happened, but in the piles, that's what happens. People get rolled up on. Gets nasty down there.
We'll take this time out. 10 minutes, 9 seconds left to play in this third quarter during the injury. Get a chance to catch you up on some of our longtime sponsors for Spartans Athletics.
In search of an extraordinary dining experience where you're certain to enjoy the ambiance as well as the menu? Table 45 Restaurant and Bar is the award-winning mixed culture restaurant located at the Intercontinental Cleveland, offering cuisine from around the world created by accomplished local chef Zach Brule. Open every day, the atmosphere at Table 45 is relaxed yet inspiring with weekday chill-out happy hours, a behind-the-scenes chef's table, and outdoor dining on Patio 45. Call for more details or reservations at 216-707-4045 or visit us at tbl45.com or on Facebook.
Beautiful day here to be outside. College football Saturday afternoon, first Saturday in September. Ball fake, deep pass, Stevens down the field, and great coverage at that time for the Spartans.
Seiss is having a pretty good game. He's been in on a number of tackles, number of pass breakups. I know he had the big play on the first drive down on third down, in the end zone when Hopkins had the ball. So good to see him stepping up a little bit. He's one of the younger guys on the defense and hopefully going to grow into a leader this year.
Sophomore Dominic Says out of Los Lunas, New Mexico, went to St. Pius High School there. He's just a 165-pounder out there at that cornerback spot. Good rush. Running out of it is Stevens. He'll keep it, points for a blocker, gets it. And he's going to pick up a first down and about 6 yards more. He gets down to the 31.
That's a killer. 3rd and 7, again, we've seen it probably 2 or 3 times a day. Spartans are in the right coverage, able to finally clamp down on these receivers, and Stevens goes ahead and takes off with his legs. So wouldn't say necessarily a guy that looks to run, but when it's there, he's definitely been able and willing.
It deflates you a little bit, doesn't it?
A lot.
Yeah.
A lot. We don't have to undersell it. It's demoralizing when you go out and you got the right play called and you just can't account for the quarterback like that.
Blitz for the Spartans. Picked up. Stevens will run. He'll get 10. They'll mark him down at the 21.
He's smart. He's shown a good sense of, okay, I got my yardage. Let me get down, not looking to take big hits. Realize it's only week one, and there's a time and a place for that. So, veteran guy, can't say it enough. He knows what he's doing out there.
So let me ask you this as a former player. Do you think, and you talked about it a couple of minutes ago, do you think after this drive the starters will be out of the game for Johns Hopkins?
I'd say probably I wouldn't anticipate that they're going to play much, if any, of the fourth quarter. Again, you do have to get game reps, and Case is a talented team. It's a talented defense. It's good experience no matter how many years you've been in the program or been on the field. So the other thing is you want to put stuff on tape. Maybe you show a wrinkle here or there for the other teams to game plan, to think about. And there's also a lot of value in putting not all the backups in at once, but maybe some of them, so they get experience working with the first-team quarterback and the first-team line, kind of sprinkle them in like that.
Stevens connects at the 2, and a nice defensive stop by Says at the 2-yard line for the Spartans.
That was a good throw.
Quinn Revere.
Good throw. I mean, from the center of the field, going deep into the corner like that, he's really driving the ball. And so far as I'm concerned, he's made the short throws, the intermediate, and also the deep ball.
His arm strength is noticeable.
It's good. It's good. That's how you end up throwing for as many yards as he has.
Ugla, pound and churn, and still going. They'll mark him at the 1-yard line.
Still didn't get him down.
No, they didn't. I think that whistle blew a little quick.
And you know what? If I think of the Ugla last name, I think Dan Ugla, Mr. Popeye Forearms from the old MLB days.
Yeah.
I wonder if he's related. He runs. You know what? If I had envisioned Dan Ugly in a running back, it's that guy.
It.
Short to the ground, churning it out. And I would think that Mr. Ugla gets another chance here.
From the 1. Stevens is going to throw it. Little in and out. Beautiful pass. Quinn Revere took that defender inside. Got to defend that quick hit inside. So it's actually, it's a great little cutback.
Yeah, it's that jerk route. That's probably the most difficult for a corner to defend down there, because you have to respect the slant, and then they're going to put their foot in the ground and come right back out. So I think guys like Wes Welker, Danny Amendola, you even see McCaffrey run a route like that. It's really, really difficult to defend, and that's actually the 4th down play that they ran on the first drive of the game. This time D linemen not able to get their hands up, and results in another touchdown for the Blue Jays.
7 minutes, 16 seconds left to play in this third quarter. It's now 41-0. Johns Hopkins over Case Western Reserve University. We'll be back.
Intercontinental Suites has been transformed into much more than a hotel. It is a center of wellness and tranquility, featuring renovated suites, an expanded fitness center, and pure rooms for guests requiring the most allergen-resistant rooms on the market. C2, our Mediterranean-style restaurant and bar, accentuates the ambiance of relaxation and rejuvenation. Chef Omar Jones has designed a menu full of fresh, locally grown herbs and vegetables, along with a flavorful cuisine inspired by the beneficial Mediterranean diet. Call the Intercontinental today at 216-707-4300 or visit us at hotelsclevelandclinic.com or on Facebook.
Ron Yance, Andrew Rossman on hand here at DeSanto Field on the campus of Case Western Reserve University. Ryan Stevens, the quarterback for the Blue Jays, was 17 of 22 for 210 yards in that opening half. On that drive, he was even better efficiency-wise, and he now has 4 touchdown passes in this game alone, including a running touchdown. So he's got 5 scores all by himself as the Spartans bring it up to the 31. And if you look at what Stevens did last year, and this is him as a senior. He's a graduate student. Last year, he threw for nearly 4,000 yards, 3,841. His passing percentage was 68%. And this is a quarterback that threw up 66 passes per game, and his percentage was almost 70%. He had 33 touchdowns passing and threw only 9 interceptions. No picks today, and he already has 4 touchdowns in week 1.
It's just more of the same. That's exactly what I would expect him to come out and do in a week 1 opener, and he's been spreading it around. It's not necessarily one receiver or one back. It's Stevens playing point guard and getting everybody involved.
Orsini, with second effort, gets the ball up to the 35 for the Spartans. Yeah, you're looking for something to smile about here, right? You're looking for something to kind of, have a positive impact in your in your football psyche.
Yeah, I can say one thing that's just not going to be acceptable is getting shut out at home for the home opener. So whatever they need to do to get points on those board, preferably a touchdown, that has to happen. If you think of a real morale killer as, putting up a goose egg in week 1, that would probably do that.
Quarterback will keep it. Spartans needed 6 for the first down, and they'll get it. That was Ian Kipp with the quarterback draw. I want to take this moment to point out our great staff, our production staff, Brian Trail. He, along with Paul Salzgeber, Shayna Perlman, and Mike Becker, our director. Always great in their production for not only Spartan football, but men's and women's basketball in the wintertime as well. There's an injured Blue Jay on the field. Take a look at the upcoming schedule for both of these teams. Case Western Reserve next week on the road for a 1 o'clock kickoff at Waynesburg. Andrew and I will be back with you on September 17th as W&J plays under the lights here at DeSanto Field. Washington and Jefferson, 7 o'clock game. That's the next home game. But next week it's at Waynesburg. Johns Hopkins goes on the road to Ursinius on September 10th. And then shortly after that, they'll start their conference play. Looking at that President's Athletic Conference this year, Andrew, Spartans were picked 5th. Some typical names at the top.
Yep, well, when you start looking ahead, you start parsing out the schedule and saying which games matter. And it's hard to ignore the final one. That final one is against the hated rival Carnegie Mellon Tartans coming in. They'll be coming to Cleveland this year. So a lot of football between now and then, and I would guess that game's going to have some juice behind it.
Speaking of juice behind it, Saxton's pass that time to Ethan Dahlem. Drew took the snap, kind of squatted down to hide himself for a moment, and then threw a bullet across the field to Dahlem.
Yeah, Dahlem's had a nice game. He's picked up a couple receptions. I'd say he's probably been the most adept at finding the holes in that Hopkins defense and settling down nicely. So, again, whatever they got to do to get points on the board, we got to get this thing rolling. And 41-0 is not a score that anyone planned on, but it's don't want to over-exaggerate it, but getting 7 on the board would be huge for this team's confidence.
Saxton under center, Orsini in the backfield. Drew will roll, look to throw. Throws it deep, releasing, and almost connecting was Wykowski.
Getting mobile. And you gave him a chance. That's all you can ask on a play like that. Thought he might have had 5 or 6 yards rushing, but at this point in the game, you're looking for chunk plays. You're looking for 20, 30-yard passes like that. And, it looks like now we're going to keep the quarterback carousel going. We'll get Fromberg out there for a snap or 2.
That was the temptation, wasn't it, for Saxon? He could have tucked, and you said, 5-6, easy. Fromberg now at quarterback, 2nd and 10. 5:22 left to play, third quarter. Orsini will get the handoff, and Antonio across the 40 down to the 38. Alex Fromberg from Bridgewater, New Jersey, Raritan High School. He's out, Drew Saxton back in. Saxton, the 5th-year senior. Spartans read that spread offense, and this year it's got a whole new wrinkle to it. Game 1, but they've been working during training camp or preseason with a 4-quarterback, not rotation. It's not like, well, it could turn into that. But many times they'll have 2 quarterbacks on the field at the same time. That's Saxton with a quick pass off to Sean Michael James. And the reason being, Coach Debelak and his staff really believe in these 4 athletes. They are clear athletes, 4 of their better athletes on this offense, and they just think they need to be on the field. Nothing wrong with that.
No, it's good to see Case pick up the first down there. This is probably, give or take a couple yards, the furthest they've been into Blue Jay territory today. And again, we're hunting for a touchdown here. We need to wipe that 0 off the board as soon as possible.
Saxton got to get rid of it quick. He is unable to. I don't know how he held on to the football. Boy, that defensive line and the ends coming in.
And it's hard to tell. I mean, it's almost hard to tell who's on the D-line and who's a linebacker.
Yeah.
They've got about 6 or 7 guys that are built almost identically. The numbers don't really help you. They rotate them in and out, and at the end of the day, they're all able to shed blocks and get after the quarterbacks. We see preseason All-American Luke Sherman there.
Sherman, Dubois, the linebacker.
Yeah, it's tough to keep track of, and it's hard enough for us up here. I'm sure it's even worse for being down on the line and being Drew Saxton.
2nd and 15, it was a loss of 5 on the sack. Saxton showed great strength just holding on to that football. Saxton steps up again pressured, and again he'll go down. Credited for the tackle that time.
Looks like Zach
Allen.
Yep.
But putting pressure on, creating the sack for Allen was Carson Curry.
Yep, it's a deep group. And, if I had to put any money down, I would bet on the Blue Jays being there in November. And who knows, maybe this is the year that they get into December and kind of get over that hump. But it's hard to imagine a team in the country having a more complete set of guys, not only on offense, defense, but also special teams. It's really been 3 phases today, and you can figure out quickly why they're so highly rated.
4 linemen ready to go for the Blue Jays. 3rd and long. Saxton again in trouble. He'll get sacked at the 45-yard line. That's Sherman, the sophomore defensive end. We pointed out he's a D3 All-American first team preseason as a sophomore.
So if you project out and say that he continues to grow and get better not only this year, but he's got another 2 years, I think everybody in that Centennial Conference is going to be nice and sick of Mr. Sherman down the road.
6'4", 240. Spartans will punt. Ben Barney has had a busy day. He's done a nice job. That's a beautiful punt all the way down to the 12-yard line. Andrew Rich holding on to it for the Blue Jays of Johns Hopkins.
Yeah, and we'll see who Hopkins comes out with. This may be final drive. Again, I would anticipate most of the fourth quarter we're going to find out what type of depth the Blue Jays have. But, I don't know, minute and a half left. We'll see if you give Stevens and the first teamers another chance, and it looks like that's what's going to happen.
The lefty, number 17, is on the field, along with his top receivers as well. In motions is one of them, Artie Collins. Nice defensive stop by the Spartans. That was Andrew Rich with the carry for the Blue Jays.
Yeah, and that's what I was touching on earlier. So Rich hasn't necessarily seen a ton of carries or a ton of playing time so far in this game, but when you have, start to splice in some of the backup skill guys, sometimes it's helpful to keep the first team line in, the first team quarterback, and you can see, hey, maybe down the road somebody gets injured. Do we have confidence in plugging this guy in the first unit? And this is how you build that confidence.
Fake to Rich, and the pass is out, complete to Quinn Revere. That's a first down for Johns Hopkins. Ryan Stevens is real good at throwing that quick pass. He's got, I think, great arm strength to get that out there as fast as he does.
Yeah, I would say it's been a timing thing all day. He's been on schedule, on time. He knows exactly what his reads are, even in scenarios where maybe the first option isn't there. He's shown a strong ability to go to 2 and 3, and it just looks like he's out there playing catch. You'd be shocked to hear that people are even in pads. Looks like 7-on-7 most of the time.
Stevens up to Artie Collins, and Artie's going to get run out of bounds at the 36. That'll stop the clock. Actually, the clock's going to continue to roll. We're at 37 and counting left to play in this third quarter. Let's give that Johns Hopkins offensive line some credit. J.R. Woods, the right guard, 6'3", 295 senior. Michael Nwosu, the right tackle, first-year player, 6'2", 280. This is Emmett Turner catching the pass and running with the football. Luke Simsimon, the center, a sophomore, 265. Left guard, Garrett Brophy, sophomore, 250. Left tackle, the graduate student, 6'2", 280, Alan Gorney. They have done a good job all afternoon. That's the end of the third quarter. We'll take a break as well. It's Johns Hopkins 41. Spartans still looking for their first score.
Intercontinental Suites has been transformed into much more than a hotel. It is a center of wellness and tranquility, featuring renovated suites, an expanded fitness center, and pure rooms for guests requiring the most allergen-resistant rooms on the market. C2, our Mediterranean-style restaurant and bar, accentuates the ambiance of relaxation and rejuvenation. Chef Omar Jones has designed a menu full of fresh, locally grown herbs and vegetables, along with a flavorful cuisine inspired by the beneficial Mediterranean diet. Call the Intercontinental today at 216-707-4300 or visit us at hotelsclevelandclinic.com or on Facebook.
Well, not to beat a dead horse, Andrew, but the goal for the Spartans in this fourth quarter, put points on the board.
Points on the board. Doesn't matter if it's a safety, a field goal, block punt, whatever you got to do. We can't have goose eggs around here. Nobody wants to see that. And, when you put a shutout out, it's sticking up there forever. It kind of sticks in the rest of the season. You'll remember week 1 we got, shut out at home. So hopefully that's not something we have to deal with, but got 15 minutes to find out.
Stevens will throw it. Goes to the short out. Needed only 3 yards to get the first down. That was the check down pass to Andrew Rich.
Yeah, and if I'm looking, we just got handed our stats through the third quarter. It's no secret why Johns Hopkins is up 41-0. First downs, 24-10. Rushing yards, 176-39. Passing yards, you'd think Case Western coming in, prolific through the air. Under 100 yards passing through 3 quarters. So concede in all phases, and like I said, that's how you build a 40-point lead.
Stevens towards his own bench, and that's really the first big miss he's had today. That one did not have a chance at a completion, and I believe that's the first time I've said that on a Ryan Stevens pass today.
It's not only a self-inflicted wound there. That's one of the only misses that he's had. He, coming in before that pass, he's 23 of 29 for 257, 4 touchdowns. He's only been sacked once, and I want to emphasize that 1 sack number. He's been comfortable all day. He's been able to go through his reads. Honestly, kind of been flat-footed on some of them because he just knows his big offensive line is going to take care of him and doesn't really have to worry about it.
Stevens looking for the home run ball. He's not going to get that. He's going to think about throwing deep. Still, what a catch! Up with a one-armed grab for the Blue Jays.
It's like Josh Polis pulling it down. That was good. It was a nice catch and throw, and in certain scenarios where you're not able to have those on-scheduled throws, gotta lean on your playmakers, and that's what happens.
Moving with the football after the catch, Lance Large.
Yep, so I think based on those last 2 plays, there are 6 different people with receiving or receptions in this game. Yeah, Collins with 7 receptions, Revere with 7, Pantelis with 4. And I didn't notice it until this point. Collins got 2 touchdowns, and Revere's got 2 touchdowns. So spreading it around. Whoever's next on the schedule for Blue Jays, good luck. You're going to have to stop a wide array of weapons for him.
Stevens will throw it again. This time, a little dump pass. And walking in for a touchdown yet again for the Blue Jays. A new score, but another touchdown, Jeff Schroeder. What's old is new again. New touchdown recipient, but the same old thing, a long Blue Jay drive ending in a touchdown.
Yep, that's been the theme of the day. And, if you look down on the Case sideline, this is where we talked about at the beginning of the year, you're going to know if you have a playoff team or not, team capable of winning the conference. You can look down and, hey, this is probably going to be the low point of the year. I can't imagine they're going to be in a situation like this at any point during the next 9 games. So you got to find out who's going to respond, who's going to rally the guys, be a constant, strong voice, not only on the sideline but in that locker room. And again, 48-0, not what anybody envisioned. 48-7 sounds a lot better, and it doesn't necessarily change the end outcome. But getting that 0 off the scoreboard is pretty much the only focus of this offense the rest of the way.
The 5th touchdown pass, and likely the last of the afternoon for the graduate student quarterback Ryan Stevens for Johns Hopkins. The Blue Jays have scored 7 touchdowns today, and in 6 of those 7, Ryan Stevens has had something to do with it. He's thrown 5 touchdown passes, and then he had a 1-yard quarterback keep where he scored another. National Player of the Week, right?
I would think so.
Yeah.
I would think so. So I don't necessarily have a vote. I don't agree that I don't have a vote. I should. I think I can allocate those appropriately, but I would think that Stevens is more than worthy this week of picking up that honor.
Dusler will bring it up for the Spartans, and Gage Dusler is at the 26-yard line.
And we'll see who Case rolls out at quarterback here. We'll see if they start to kind of lean into that rotation more, or if they want to go the confidence-building route with Saxton.
Right below us right now is the defense, huddled around the defensive staff. The coaching continues no matter what, right? No matter if you're up 41-0 or down 48-0. And this is, there's a lot of learning going on out there right now.
I can tell you, Coach Miller, it could be 150-2, whatever outlandish score you can think of. His demeanor will not change. And I've said it on this broadcast before, he expects his team and his defense is going to play aggressively, and he's going to coach them aggressively. He believes that there needs to be alignment there, and if you can look down and see how he's coaching up his guys now, that is holding true. And they've given up almost a 50-burger at this point, but he's still all over them. He's giving them pointers. And it's not a style where he says, here's everything that we're doing wrong. It's here's what we can do better. Here's how we can improve. So it's not always negative. It's looking to find improvements and figuring out ways, all right, this happened. How can we stop it from happening on the next drive?
Ian Kipp will take the snap, throw it sidearm. It's almost picked. Kipp was good to just get that snap under control. It went a little wide, and he showed Patrick Mahomes-like style that time. Didn't go overhand with the pass because he had to throw it sidearm, almost underhand, because of the defenders with their hands in the air.
I wondered which quarterback you were going to pick out there. I would have gone with Colt McCoy, but you went Pat Mahomes.
Colt McCoy. Wow.
You went with Pat Mahomes. Yeah, it was nice. I mean, he's an athlete. We've heard plenty of stories from camp of how Kipp can really throw it, and he's a good athlete. You can see why they're trying to get him on the field. We'll flip back to Fromberg here for this snap.
Going to step up and run it. Fromberg with some room. Up to the 46-yard line. They'll mark him at the 45.
Let's just put all 4 of them out there. Put them all out there at once. Put 1 in the slot, 2 or 3 in the backfield, and see what happens. Yeah, it's definitely different skill sets amongst the 4, and if they can ever figure out this rotation and start to situationally put them in, it's almost like a bullpen.
Right.
You have your lefty 1-out guy, you got your righty submarine guy. Similar stuff. You just got to figure out what that right combo is.
Fromberg's at his 14, or at the 40, rather. He'll throw it deep. Wachowski's open at the 30, catches it, and down to the 25.
That's probably the first chunk play we've had today.
Noah Coyne, rather, not Wachowski.
Yeah, Fromberg showing an ability not only on the ground, but sometimes that's the toughest throw when you see that a guy's beat and you just got to lay it out there. The rule is you don't want to overthrow him, if anything under. So good job getting that completion. And, once again, Case, positive territory, marching towards the end zone, see if this is the one that they can get it done.
Ian Kipp at quarterback, looks left, going to have to run it. Runs right to open space. Kipp at the 10, the 5, looking for the end zone, and he gets it.
There we go.
Deep sigh of relief for the Spartans.
Yeah, that was, for one reason or another, that was their best drive of the day. And I know Hopkins is starting to rotate some guys in, but these are still, they're number 2s on the number 10 team in the country. So definitely some strong athletes still out there. And credit to Case, hey, keeping your head down, getting it done, finally putting points on the scoreboard. And, we got just under 11 minutes left to see what else can come out of this game.
Ken Barney in to do something other than punt today for the Spartans, and his extra point is good. And with 10 minutes and 58 seconds left to play in this football game, Case Western Reserve University's on the scoreboard, down 48-7 to Johns Hopkins. We'll be back.
In search of an extraordinary dining experience where you're certain to enjoy the ambiance as well as the menu? Table 45 Restaurant and Bar is the award-winning mixed culture restaurant located at the Intercontinental Cleveland, offering cuisine from around the world created by accomplished local chef Zach Brule. Open every day, the atmosphere at Table 45 is relaxed yet inspiring with weekday chill-out happy hours, a behind-the-scenes chef's table, and outdoor dining on Patio 45. Call for more details or reservations at 216-707-4045 or visit us at tbl45.com or on Facebook.
So, Andrew, you got your wish. Do you feel better?
On behalf of the esteemed alumni of this program, we feel much better about having a touchdown up there versus a 0.
Gotcha.
I'd like 2. I'd like 3 or 4.
Sure, let's go. We got 10:58 left. You know, there's a nice crowd here today. They had all the athletes who received All-America status, NCAA championship status at some point. Not national champions, but, you know, getting to the Sweet 16 like the men's basketball team, or getting to the Final Four like the men's tennis team or the winter soccer team. UAA champions on the field at halftime. And it was great to see the success of this athletic program over, this was just the last year.
Yeah, it was a good year, and I want to give a special shout-out to the Case Western baseball team, able to pull home the UAA conference title this past year. So congrats to them and the rest of the teams. It was obviously a great year for the athletic program, and hopefully this is another step forward in 2022-23.
Johns Hopkins with the ball at the 48 of the Spartans, and they've got a new quarterback in the game. And the quarterback for the Blue Jays is Bay Harvey.
Well, I would think that Mr. Harvey's task is get reps, be ready. I don't envision this being the last game that Hopkins is up in a scenario like this, and it's a game of football. It can change at any point. You never wish it on anybody, but injuries do happen, and those backups need to be ready to roll.
Well, Harvey is a local tie. He's from Link, Switzerland, but he went to high school at Cleveland Heights. The Heights Tigers, not too far from this campus. Just a sophomore.
Yep, and if I had to guess, I would say the projection is everything goes according to plan. This will be Mr. Harvey's offense in about 12 months.
3rd down and 7. That's P.J. Scales in motion for the Blue Jays. Harvey to throw. He'll be pressured. And he snuck out of it. I thought for certain that was a sack, and look what it's turned into. Harvey somehow got rid of it, and he got it to Andrew Rich, and Rich needed 7. He got maybe a yard.
Yeah, and I certainly wish, that the score was flipped or we were seeing a tight contest here, but this portion of the game can get pretty fun. You get some young guys in there, maybe not as technically sound or don't necessarily have a great grasp of the offense or defense. They're just out there kind of running around and showing what they got. So it can be fun. It can be a little chaotic at times. It's kind of like that play was, and this is where, all right, if I'm a coach, I'm going to figure out what my freshmen, sophomores have to offer, because, again, it's one play away, and then, suddenly you're relying on a freshman against a big-time team in the playoffs.
Little rugby kick. And that actually hit number 49 at the 26-yard line. That's where they'll mark it dead. They're going to actually mark it at the 30. That hit Carter Hogg right in the back as he was running down to cover that punt.
Yeah, and I can look at the offensive huddle for the Spartans coming out. Coach Debelak's pretty juiced up. He was happy with that last drive. He knows how much this can mean to this offense as far as a confidence standpoint goes. And a one touchdown drive is great. Putting 2 together, then we can really start, building on something, put some good stuff on tape, because, tomorrow this team's going to have to come back and they got to watch this game beginning to end. They're going to sit there and they're going to see, here's some mistakes we made, some areas we can improve on, and it's always good to end the film on a high note. So see if they can string a second straight drive here together.
Fromberg's in at quarterback, or actually it's Kipp. Ian Kipp. Kip will tuck and run across the 30. Gets near the 35. He'll pick up 4.5 yards.
And he's looked pretty good on the ground. He's definitely an athlete coming over from Kent State who can, put his head down, get some tough yards, and show some explosion. So, again, we've said it a couple times, different skill sets between these different quarterbacks. Just got to find the right use for him at the right time.
This is Fromberg. Dusler behind him, the lone running back. Little bubble screen again. Enough for a Spartan first down. Needed to get to the 40. And they'll be down at the 43-yard line.
Nice to see Lukatish get involved. Spartans, typically the hallmark of their offense is they're similar to how Hopkins is rolling today. It's going to be not necessarily one guy. I know sometimes Colt Morgan would kind of take over that persona, but usually it's 4 or 5. It's by committee and spreading it all around and making it tough on the defense.
Alex Fromberg remains in the game for the Spartans. 7 minutes, 40 seconds left. Dusler will take the handoff, and Gage immediately met in the middle of that line and tackled. Dusler, the sophomore running back from Avon Lake. There are 3 Spartans, or 3 Shoremen on this Spartans roster. Gage Dusler starts on offense. Sakalo starts on defense. And Michael Stewie is a backup linebacker on the defense.
Yeah,
all
good.
3 are sophomores from the Shoreman football program.
Good chunk of Avon Lake kids. Decent amount of Mentor kids on the roster at this point.
And something out of nothing. There was absolutely no reason that Ian Kipp should have picked up positive yards on that, but somehow he found the ability. And it's really fun watching him run with the football.
He's a good athlete. It looks kind of funky out there. You got the quarterback running around with no gloves. Doesn't really look like a traditional running back, but as soon as he gets up into the open field, he's shown an ability to not only get positive yards, but usually 10 to 15 at that.
Ball's at the 42 of Johns Hopkins. Hopkins stacking that line. And Kipp's got nowhere to run. He got stood up and smoked by Oliver Craddock.
Yeah, and at this point, looking out there, it looks like the Hopkins defense is pretty much completely turned over. Looks like there's still, I think the only starter still out there for one reason or another would be Alejandro Garcia. And I know they were rotating guys at that corner position. So sometimes when you have a position battle, this is when you kind of figure that out, see if guys can really lock guys down even when the score is not necessarily as close as you thought it would be.
It's interesting, though, even though they have completely, like you said, turned that defensive over personnel-wise, and I don't know if it's the simple white uniforms with just the blue numeral on them, but the body types all look the same.
The same, and we mentioned it at the top of the broadcast. It's a deep group. Their 2s and 3s are, that's probably the sign of from a good to a great team. What's the spread from your 1s to your 3s? You want that to probably be as tight as possible. Now, sometimes it means your 1s aren't necessarily as good as you would hope, but I think in the case of Hopkins, it's because they've recruited to depth, and it's depth at the important positions. So offensive line, defensive line, like you said, those body types don't look that different. They got big, strong kids down there, and just pump them through. It was a little hotter today. It was more of a depth day where you had to roll them out, and especially given the score, once you give some full-time work to the backups and see if they can come through, continue what they built on. And the other thing you got going on is the first-team defense is sitting there on the sidelines. They put the work in. They had a shutout going. It's on these young guys to keep it going. For better or worse, the players care about stats. They care about where we rank in the conference on points allowed, nationally on points allowed. It's a pride point for teams like Hopkins and Case, and it's on, like I said, the younger guys to keep those stats rolling.
So they will try to keep the Spartans out of the end zone as the Spartans try to get back in there. That's Kipp with the pass to his fullback out of the backfield. That's Dominic Wade.
This is going to be a great replay. Wade coming in, and you're going to watch the bowling ball get going. Boom.
Yeah, Wade put Cole Peters on his backside.
That's where the D coordinator's yelling, wrap up. And you look at the D coordinator and say, you want to try and tackle that guy?
You want to wrap that?
Yep.
Derek Slesh, the offensive coordinator of the Spartans of Case Western Reserve University. Slesh has been with Coach Debelak all 21 years. They've both been here 21. Debs has been the head coach for 19. And Coach Slesh would love to see, as the Spartans advance with another first down, another touchdown on the board here before this game gets over.
What I'd love to see, it was off camera. You see Kip breaking, 3, 4, 5 tackles on that play. The most endangered species in the world was a headset on that Hopkins sideline after that play. These coaches are still all over their guys. They know how important it is to coach the backups at the same intensity as you coach the starters. And
Fromberg needed less than a yard. He needed half a football. He gets it.
that's important. It's important to have the starters engaged. You don't want everybody, screwing around on the sideline, not paying attention. It's a sign of a good program when everybody's still invested in it and pushing these young guys to uphold that standard.
Yeah, whether you're up 48-7 or down 48-7, the mental approach has to stay the same.
Yeah, it matters. There's nothing cooler than when you're a young guy out there and you look up and the seniors are screaming full throat on the sideline and all over you for making a good play, and that's a good feeling. So that's what you're kind of chasing in this scenario.
Fromberg to throw. He gets blitzed. He gets hit. He gets sacked. Matthew Conkle, along with Zach Allen, in to smother Alex Fromberg. Spartans had the ball at the 31. That's a sack of 8 yards. They're back now at the 39.
Yep, looking for positive yardage here. 2nd and 18. You want to give yourself a chance on 3rd down. Can't have an incomplete pass here. Need to be moving forward.
This home game is just one of 2 in the first 6 games of the season. Deep ball down the sideline. Caught it. What a catch. They'll mark him at the 1. What a pass.
Yeah,
There was no room for error there.
He slings it. He's got a little sidearm. Not quite a Phillip Rivers approach, but able to sneak it in there to Wykowski, and now they're knocking on the doorstep of another touchdown here. So clock's running down. They're going to be under 3 minutes probably when they snap this ball, but again, can't emphasize enough how important each and every score is in this game.
Dusler standing back at his 10. Will not get the ball. Kip will roll and throw. He'll throw to the fullback, and breaking tackles and jumping into that end zone is Dominic Wade. Can't wrap that young man.
No, simple little bootleg. I think it's one of the staples of Coach Debelak's offense. You get that little H-back, fullback trailing out there, and I'd love to know the number of touchdowns we scored on that play over the last 19 years.
So Kip to Wade. And when Barney completes this point after touchdown, the Spartans will have their 2nd touchdown of the 4th quarter. Three minutes left. The Spartans are winning this 4th quarter. And they're losing the game, though, 48-14 over Johns Hopkins. But there are positive things to talk about now on the Spartans sideline. And on a day like today, that's all you're looking for.
Okay, that scoreboard looks a little better. Not great.
You said you wanted 2 touchdowns.
Now
you want 3?
Now I want a 3rd.
Now you want 3.
Yep, always got to be pushing, Ron. Always pushing, but this would be a good chance. So if you want to, the offense has built a little positive momentum now, 2 straight scoring drives. Now it's time for the defense to go out and start to string some stuff together. It's going to be a different level of intensity. It's not the first unit for Hopkins, but hey, it's the 10th ranked team in the country. Go out, put some stuff on tape, build some confidence. Probably most importantly, make tackles and stay assignment sound.
Barney's kick fielded at the 4 by E.J. Tallarico. Tallarico's down at the 24. See a lot of Spartan backups now on defense.
Yeah. Yeah, this is what you do in this scenario. Get them the reps. Hopefully get them the confidence. Now it can go the other way. It can go horribly wrong. But, I mean, if there's anybody in the world that knows the importance of coaching the backups as hard as the first teamers, it's Coach Warren Miller. So if you put a camera on him on this sideline, you'll see every first down here is going to be crucial in his mind, and that's how it should be. You got to build the program from the ground up.
Pass over the middle, complete with running room. Lots of room. Down to the 40-yard line goes P.J. Scales.
Man, they're just rolling them out. It's weapon after weapon. I mean, they put in.
Quarterback looks pretty good, too.
Yeah, Bay Harvey can sling it. I'm telling you, if you put a bookmark in this and you come back a year from now, well, I don't know. Stevens might be back for what seems like an 8th year at this point, but I would think that Harvey takes over next year, and as much as we've seen today, it doesn't appear that the offense will really slow down at that point.
Ball's at the 40. Broken tackles by the running back. Carter. I'm going to check that. Was that Carter Hogg with the carry? Not Hogg. It was Jacob Chapman. Chapman 26, Hogg 28.
Yeah, and he's another one. I mean, similar to how we were talking about the D linemen looking the same, 1 through 3. This is probably their 4th running back. He looks no different than the starter. Physically, patience-wise, still putting his head down, getting positive yards.
He'll do exactly that and gain 7 more yards down to the 22-yard line.
Creeping under, a minute and a half left here. Looks like Hopkins, they'll be respectful about it, but they're going to probably run the ball, and if they could put up another score, it's just another confidence boost for this team.
Chapman will get it. He'll work the right side, and there's going to be a holding call. That will bring that one back. The guilty party will be Matthew Roessler.
Yeah, it's been pretty clean today. I'd say we're probably well under 10 penalties combined between both teams, 0 turnovers. And we said at the top, probably one of the keys of the game for Case Western was picking up some of those turnovers, flipping field position. Whole team's pretty clean in that regard, and it's just a good, clean beatdown. That's how I describe it. I think Hopkins was the better team from the beginning. That's offense, defense, and special teams, and it's tough. It's tough when you go out there and kind of get manhandled like the Spartans have today, but able to put 2 scores up in the 4th quarter, and you got to find small victories in a scenario like this.
Yeah, and you also have to admit, like you just said, Harvey with a touchdown pass. Did he stay in bounds? He did.
That Polis again.
I believe it was Josh Polis.
Yep.
Talk about an arm.
Yeah, I mean, they're good. They've put the work in recruiting-wise, and then once you get these kids in the building, coach them up, and just continue to emphasize, just because you're a backup doesn't mean you're not going to get called upon to uphold the standard of this program. And you can look at the scoreboard, 54-14. That's from the first guy on the roster all the way to the last. That's impressive.
Extra point blocked. It will stay at 54.
There's our guy, Osi, freshman, making an impact on special teams. So it's nice. It's nice. It's something that the coaches notice, and you can really tell, all right, who still cares? There's under a minute left, and we're down by 40 points, and we're still blocking extra points. That's a good sign. Good sign of things to come.
We'll take one more timeout in this football game. 56 seconds left to play. We'll be back with the final 56 after this.
Intercontinental Suites has been transformed into much more than a hotel. It is a center of wellness and tranquility, featuring renovated suites, an expanded fitness center, and pure rooms for guests requiring the most allergen-resistant rooms on the market. C2, our Mediterranean-style restaurant and bar, accentuates the ambiance of relaxation and rejuvenation. Chef Omar Jones has designed a menu full of fresh, locally grown herbs and vegetables, along with a flavorful cuisine inspired by the beneficial Mediterranean diet. Call the Intercontinental today at 216-707-4300 or visit us at hotelsclevelandclinic.com or on Facebook.
Sun's starting to come out hard here at DeSanto Field. That kickoff wisely left to go out of bounds, so the Spartans will start in good field position in the final 56.6 of this football game. Campus is active once again here this week. Students back on campus. Some of them have been huddled along the ivy that grows on the fence that circles the western side of this DeSanto Field. It's a beautiful place to be in the fall. Colors have not turned, but they will. By the time we are here in late November, or actually early November and late October, trees will have turned, the ivy will have turned, and it's just a beautiful view. I think you're lucky as a player to play in a facility and on a field like this.
I would agree. It's one of the best. Yep, I think we'll probably get one or two more handoffs there, get some guys some game snaps, and then off we'll go.
That was Aaron Phillips, the first-year player out of Highland High School at quarterback. Phillips will stay in the game. Going to throw it. Leads his receiver nicely over midfield and out of bounds at the 40-yard line. It was Phillips to Jack Breyer.
It's a good-looking pass.
It was a great pass.
Yep, another Cleveland kid. I've seen him in person, put it on my alma mater high school, North Royalton. So a couple years down at Medina Highland, I know Phillips was more than prolific. It was on the ground, it was through the air, and it's good to see a quality athlete like that coming out of Cleveland get to stay home and play 4 years for the Spartans.
21 seconds left. Can the Spartans do it? Can they throw another 7 points on the scoreboard? We'll need to use a timeout here on that pass and catch. Receiving it.
That's good. I like that
Isaiah Arrington.
I like that they put him in and they're letting him air it out a little bit. Is it valuable to go in and hand the ball off? Sure. Is it huge for confidence boosting to come in and complete a couple passes? Absolutely. And that's what they've done. And credit to Phillips for getting 2 straight nice completions there. Good ball placement, good arm strength, and hey, if there's any holes on this team, it is not in that quarterback room. You know, top to bottom, they got a couple guys that they should be more than comfortable putting out there in any scenario.
Coach Debs in the middle of that huddle right now on the field, as you can see, still animated.
He's in there. He'll coach them to the death. And I said I wanted a third touchdown. We got 15 more seconds to make that happen. So let's see. Let the kid air it out. See if we can get some separation on the outside and make it happen.
He'll have Arrington on the near side of the field. 2 receivers to his left. Ball's at the 30. Game clock's at 15 seconds. Phillips going to have to roll and throw this one. Chucks it deep. Good arm strength. And that's deep into the corner of the end zone. Nobody there.
Yep, little scramble drill. Got to build rapport.
Yeah, he had to move quickly.
He got the hips around and put a good
did.
throw on it.
Yeah, he put a great throw on it. Running across his body to make that throw.
Yep. So we'll see. Got at least one more, maybe 2 more, depending on how long this play takes. Spartans do not have any timeouts left, so tackle in bounds will kill the game. If they're able to complete it, get up and spike it after a first down, maybe get one more play.
Riley Nurick now in the game. Nurick can catch and run with it. Phillips will look his way. He's going to throw it deep to Arrington, and this is out of bounds at the pylon marker with 4.4 seconds left. Good coverage that time by the Blue Jays defense. That was Ty Alunga-Reed.
Yeah, and they've been good all day. They've been, I touched on it earlier, squeeze into the sideline as much as you can. Use the sideline as your friend.
Last play. Phillips going to run it. Going to pick up 3, and the clock has hit 0. Spartans and the Blue Jays will meet at midfield. Johns Hopkins will head home with a big opening season win, 54-14.